Very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the briefing for Tuesday, the 25th of June. Okay, so the synoptic situation today, we're not really particularly high pressure anymore. There is this one centered up in Scandinavia, which you can argue we're just on the edge of, but really we're just between this low pressure over the continent here and a couple of low pressure systems and a high pressure system in the Atlantic. And we've got this waving front out to the west. If I wind it back to midnight, you can see it's just a little bit further out to the west. But midday today, it's showing it to be pretty much stationary there. And moving ahead to midnight tonight, it looks like the warmer air mass that we're in has actually pushed back a little bit. So that should be staying pretty clear of us, but might make it ever so slightly cloudier well to the west. Wind today, very, very light. We're looking at generally a southeasterly flow at about 5 or 10 knots at most at flying height. I think on the ground, it's going to be fairly light and variable, trending from the southeast. Sat pic, you can see quite a lot of cloud associated with that front out to the west. Otherwise, majority of the country is clear at the moment. A little bit of rain also associated with that front, but quite a long way away. And as we wind through the rainfall forecast for today, you can see it's not really going to affect us or the task area today. Public forecast then showing sunny this morning, then clouding up as the day goes on, with the top temperature of about 26 degrees. Breeze is showing very light from the southeast generally, and very dry as you'd expect, and UV up 6 and 7, so very high. Definitely need sun cream today. Midday temperatures, GFS is showing about 24, 25 in our area. Unsurprisingly, about 28 around London, and much better soaring that way. Winding it forward to about 4 p.m. Showing a bit similar, really. We might get a little bit warmer, 24 to 25 possibly. Dew points today generally quite high, but a reasonable split still, about 14 to 15 degrees. Later into the afternoon doesn't really change, so fairly consistent throughout the day. That's a view outside 20 minutes ago, and so view outside now hasn't really changed. Currently 22 degrees at Lasham with a dew point of 14. Dave Messon's forecast, as always, much appreciated. He's showing trig temperature of 23 degrees, about at 11 a.m., giving cumulus 3,500 feet. And then slightly better into the afternoon, 4 to 4,500 feet. He's saying laps of Chilpot and Hungerford or Devizes, Oxford, so not going desperately far away. Maybe 3 to 400k at most, but not going too far away, I think, is his general idea. Yeah, Farnborough is showing 2 knots from variable directions, so they're not really picking up a good wind direction today. Okay, so your potential flight distance on top meteo. Zoom that in a bit for you. Is as shown, so actually not great in the Lasham area. Looks better to the north. Downwind of London looks quite reasonable, but not brilliant going down to the west. Thermals at 10 a.m. it's not showing a lot. 11 a.m. a lot more activity, up to about 3,500 feet by the looks of it, with some cumulus around. Going forward a couple of hours, developing quite quickly, potentially overdeveloping in our area. Better to the north and to the west in that regard on this forecast. Going into the afternoon, looks like about 1,500 meters, so 4,500 feet. Looks much better up to the north, less overdevelopment and a little bit higher. So look at your site forecast for Lasham. So quite soarable from about 11. And you can see it's just a little bit inconsistent here, 2s, 3s, and then 1.5. And then it's not showing a lot from 4 p.m. onwards. Usable height above the ground, about 4,000 feet generally. Sky sight then, it's your potential flight distance for the day. You can see very nice over London and a little bit better up to the north and the northwest. Point forecast for Lasham. Thermal's getting going by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then clouding over quite a lot by the looks of it. You can see on here, it's quite a thick cloud. Thermal strength generally about 3 knots, but similar to top meteo, getting a little bit inconsistent. If we look at somewhere a little bit further north, here's Bicester, and you can see it just looks a little bit steadier. So similar soaring to begin with, and then 3 to 3.5 knots, fairly steady for most of the day, with not too much low cloud development until quite late in the afternoon. And you can see a steady increase in cloud base, just a little bit more consistent up that way. Okay, no TAMs, not really anything. Gliding competition in Bidford. If you're going that way, I don't think people will quite go that far, but 38 and 46 is some parachuting at Abbeydoor and at Shobden. Otherwise, I couldn't see anything on here that really is relevant for us. Operationally then, it's going to be a standard setup on 09, launch point in the normal position. Cables will possibly be offset, but the wind is very light, so I anticipate that we'll start off with the cables running down just south of the runway. They'll be on the southern edge of the gliders, so southern wing up, and the retrieve track will be coming down that side. Aero tows as normal from the northern edge of the runway. People are welcome to grid if there's a lot of you rigging. Normal position over here, 2 wingspans from the edge of the perimeter track. Heavy gliders, 2-seaters will probably want to come to the runway. We've got 5 K21s, not three as I've listed here. I'll come back to that for the club pilots. We've got 757 arriving in just after 1 p.m. today, so please consider that. Don't dump your gliders on the runway and leave them. From about midday onwards, if you'd like to go flying, either join the back of the grid if it hasn't gone yet, or bring your glider to the launch point and go, but please don't leave them there parked for extended periods of time, just in case that comes early. Yes, 5K21s now, which is really good. 773 is lovely. We've also got 778 back, 2 K13s, 2 baby grubs, and 3 discuses. Club pilots, please make sure you're treating the tail heavy gliders with care. So SH6 and the discus, and also SH8. Make sure we're lifting the tail wheel or using the tail dollies when we go around corners. And the simulator is serviceable as ever. Looks like a great day. I'll see you out there. Bye for now.